Once in a while, a game comes along that just ignores everything else and does what it likes. With a big fat sign around its neck, it shouts, "Look at me, I'm different, take a chance." Rez was that game, and that was 2001. Fast forward 10 years, and we're finally seeing a sequel to that game-changing game with Child of Eden. So check your expectations at the door, as we're cranking up the weird and wonderful with a super review. Child of Eden is a shoot-'em-up like none other. Wrapped up in the trimmings of an action rhythm game, it's best described as a kaleidoscope of colour and motion engulfed in a 90s trance soundtrack on steroids and Red Bull. Coming 10 years after the critically acclaimed Rez, Child of Eden plays as a half-sequel, half-spiritual successor to that game's rail-shooting gameplay. Tying its rhythmic action together with a loose story of saving Eden, the artificial intelligence in which Rez took place, the gamer's objective is to save Project Lumi from a virus attack whilst making pretty pictures and cool sounds. You see, at its core, Child of Eden is, like Rez, an experiment in synesthesia, the art of integrating sound, images and touch into one sensory experience. And boy, has it succeeded. Right, we're about to get all scientific now with our Child of Eden fact of the day. Child of Eden is all about synesthesia, the process by which one sense, like touch or sight, leads to an involuntary experience with another sense, like sound. Whilst Child of Eden's use of synesthesia is a close recreation, true synesthesia is an involuntary action. In fact, it's estimated that only 1 in every 23 people on the planet can experience true synesthesia. And those lucky few often use their synesthetic experiences to aid in their creative work and help the other 22 out of the 23 people understand what it is they're banging on about. Time for a tip now. Don't play Child of Eden with a boring old standard controller. You'd just be missing the point with exceptional aplomb. Just don't do it. You owe it to yourself to play this game with Kinect and play it the way it was intended. Not only is it much easier to play, but you'll start to hit those perfect scores with staggering efficiency. Yeah, you may look a bit stupid, but you'll be having too much fun to care. If you're looking for anything remotely like Child of Eden, we're going to point you in the direction of the only game that comes within 100 miles of it, the aforementioned Rez. Fortunately, you won't have to fork out for a second-hand Dreamcast or PlayStation 2, as this classic of the last generation is available on the Xbox Live Arcade. As a precursor for Child of Eden's gameplay, Rez is a fantastic and unique on-rail shooter that pioneered the synesthetic gameplay that Child of Eden proudly wears on its sleeve. Child of Eden is not for everyone, though. Its strikingly different style and unique gameplay make for an experience that you either love or hate. If you're in the latter category, you're likely to find Child of Eden's pick-up-and-play manner and lack of helpful prompts a massive turn-off. And remember, if you're playing with a standard controller, you will not get as much fun and experience as with Kinect. Bummer. For those of you that fall into the former category, though, you will fall hard for Child of Eden's gorgeous visuals, sumptuous sounds, and delicious gameplay. And when it's running on Kinect, the game plays like an absolute joy, with enemies frequently bursting in showers of mad colour and rhythmic drum beats. It really is a thing of beauty. The idea of games as art has never been any closer. And for our money, any game with a giant space whale deserves to be showered with praise from everyone the world over. And that exciting mention of a gliding space whale has sadly brought our super review to a close. But if you have eyes, ears and hands and like using them to play games, you owe it to yourself to play this beautiful, ambitious and artistic title.